Today we need to get into V requesting medical help for people to get help when they need it, and we need to talk about this. This gets very emotional. We also need to get into fans talking about breaking into the military and trying to attack V. And of course, we also have a photo that has gone viral that has made people go a bit crazy. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey Spilling Mug merch, and let's go. So if you aren't aware, there's a lot of pictures that have recently gone re-viral. And what I mean by re-viral is that it had gone viral at one point, and because of the BTS members' enlistment, the photos have then gone viral again, as a lot of people are looking up the old stuff again and redistributing it again. And of course, since it has such a visceral and crazy reaction the first time, it probably was going to have a crazy reaction again, and it did. There was a file that the label had released a little while ago that was called #ArmyZip. At the time, this was in between, I believe, a promotion or a comeback, and the members were releasing a bunch of photos specifically for ARMY. Now, the term that this came from was supposed to represent people receiving merchandise from the BTS members. So for example, if you're signed up to the BTS fan club, you get membership kits, and basically within these membership kits are perks. So I don't know exactly what they include, but perks can contain things like photo cards or just exclusive photos that the label releases, specifically just to these fan clubs. It was also believed that this particular file that I am talking about today contains photos that were supposed to represent a teaser of the comeback that was happening. No, I don't remember exactly what the official comeback would have been, but I believe this was like right before the On era and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think BTS ever did this sort of look that I will explain and talk about. So V was seen as kind of like a 007 mafia person. And this was the concept, seemingly, of this photo shoot that he was doing. He had this little revolver in his hand, and he was kind of giving off mafia boss vibes, and it was very cool. A lot of people naturally went feral over this because they were freaking out over the idea that we are seeing V as a villain, and it was very cool. It also makes us feel like he would be such a great villain in a movie one day, and it expands his acting persona or his sort of range that he could do as an actor. You can probably add this to his resume and to be like, I've kind of played a mafia person. Here's a quick snippet of that mafia person. This is an older photo. However, it has since gone viral again, and that is very exciting to see this stuff kind of pick up again. Because a lot of times when an artist releases something, and even if it becomes very successful, it tends to not kind of repeat itself. And I know we think we hear a lot of stuff in the media where it seems like it's the same song from like 2007 that still gets repeated over and over again, so we think that it happens to a lot of big artists. But if you really think about it, the amount of music and the amount of art that they put out and how many of those things actually still live past the promotion year that it came from, if there's like a time that they're doing this sort of celebration of the artist, they might throw in a few throwback songs in there. But typically, what are the songs that the artists are known for and are still on repeat for? It's actually going to be very few. And then out of how many artists are in the world, how many of those artists are still thousands and thousands of songs actually still remain relevant 10, 20 years down the line. So it's actually very, very, very small percentage. So it's nice seeing something that the BTS members have done. It's nice to see something that V has done still live far enough where people can still kind of reshare it, really get excited about it, and still have sort of a visceral reaction to it, even though it's very old. Of course, we love to see that, and I think a lot of people love V and love the BTS members because they're so personable, and they make us feel like we are loved, and they make us feel like we are understood. I think a lot of people that tend to find BTS, they tend to find K-pop due to how perfect it is and due to how the artist and the idols kind of portray this fantasy for the viewers. And as people who are experiencing something and who are going through something, they're going to want to feed into that fantasy more. And thus you have a lot of people in the fandom who tend to have a lot of imagination about the artist, and they tend to believe that they know the artist because that's what the artist hopes for. Recently, V did an interview with Spotify. Of course, this was before he went to the enlistment, and he said a few things that was very interesting and I think would hit home for anybody. It's very easy for people to get lost in whatever they're doing, whether that's a very passionate project, whether that is work, whatever it is. It's often put on the back burner, especially in America, to put your health first. And it's done almost on purpose, right? Because we equate things like money to mean freedom and success and all of those things. When in reality, in a lot of other countries, money is just a tool that kind of moves things along. But freedom is just actually given to you. And while we say America is a very free country, it's not. because we're forced to work because it's so expensive, and it's so expensive so that we're forced to work. You live in a country that not only shames you for wanting to have money and success, but at the same time expects you to have money and success. It creates a very interesting thing for yourself. So you tend to work really hard, but you work really quietly, and then you tend to not want to take time to deal with your medical issues because you want to go back to working quietly by yourself. And of course, then you'll go years without anyone ever knowing what medical issues you're going through. So during a very specific interview with Spotify, V talks about how he wishes people, including himself, would not neglect their responsibilities to themselves. This means, of course, taking care of yourself first before everything else. And it goes without saying that obviously health matters. But if you don't have health, you wouldn't be able to do the things that you're looking to do anyway. And the things that if he is talking about and the things that I'm talking about are not things like if you need a specific amount of money to survive and you don't have that and you're like scrounging around for food. That's not the type of situation most of us are in, I don't think. Not all of us, definitely, but most of us are probably not scrounging around for food. And in that case, he's talking about those people who are working to achieve something else other than just living. There's people who work a lot because they want to get a promotion. They want to move up in life. They want to achieve success in their own business, those things. And those tend to be the people that are going to risk their health and their lives just to get to that next level. And ultimately, it's not really worth it. But continues to talk about how he wishes people would put health and happiness above work, and that is something I hope everyone can make into a New Year's resolution, especially if you live here in the US, is that work is not everything and it's okay to step back and not be so attached to the hip with your job. Although I can understand it's very anxiety inducing not to make money. Of course, when I see videos like this and I see basically how amazing it is, it makes me very confused when I see hate comments online talking about how they wish he doesn't come back from the military or that they wish him harm. And I think it's more so triggering for me because it makes me realize no matter how good of a person you are, there are going to be such insane people that wish you were dead. And that is so beyond insane to me because why? And how do you prevent people from acting this way? Obviously you cannot. Well, apparently there were some people online that were wishing that of V, and the whole point of why they were wishing this was because they want Jimin and Jungkook to be dating, that they think that V is standing in the way of that. When the fact of the matter is V and Jungkook is a theory that could exist but still hasn't been proven. So using that as a reason to attack and send death threats is wild to me. Like half the people who believe Jimin and Jungkook are dating are people who are saying that V is straight because he's dating Jennie. So the fact that he is getting these death threats over something that these other half of the weirdos could easily just kind of disprove themselves in their own head, in their own fantasy at least, is so crazy to me. It just shows that they want to be mad. They want to like shoot someone in the head. The comments are talking about what they want to do to him and hoping that he gets injured in the military or hoping that someone gets a chance to do that. And I think that is so wild to me because while you can hate someone, and I mean hate, let's talk about some of the most hated people in the world. You have like Trump, for example. While there's a lot of people who would say terrible things about him, it's still seen as an awful thing to talk about wanting to murder him. And I don't mean like actually just saying, oh my God, I hate him so much, I wish he would die. I'm saying like actually talking about a plan on how to end his life and the life of Trump would be something everyone collectively would say is bad. No one is in support of that, actually. Like in reality, they just wish that he just wasn't president. And you can wish the same thing about a BTS member that you don't like. You can just wish that they'll step down or stop interacting with the specific member. However, then just imagine that because everything else they're saying is also just imaginary. Why not just make the narrative up that V is gone now and then he just doesn't exist? And then just live like that. Like it's the exact same thing. Instead of just going around giving death threats and throwing around killing things, these people should be arrested and in jail. Having thoughts like this makes them, at least in my opinion, an actual danger to society. These texts should not only be seen by the police, but the police should be able to use these texts as evidence that these people need to get locked up because these are not things that you say in casual conversation. These are conversations of a psychopath. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.